there's a lot going on over there. There's people making jewelry and whittling wood, and there's music, and it's the Pulse.
Hey y'all, it's LJ here, owner and founder of Smart Moms Plan Disney and Smart Moms Travel. We are so glad you're here for another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Now, here's your host, Allie.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. I'm your host, Allie. Today I'm here with Carla and Becky once again. Good morning, girls.
Hi.
Good morning.
And we are revisiting a topic that is in a series of topics we've been doing here on the show. We like to create little episodes that go together based on each park. And we have done 2 park-focused quick service episodes where we have really taken a deep dive into the quick service food offerings at both Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom. And today we are going to continue that conversation with our third park and really figure out what are the best food offerings for quick service at Animal Kingdom. But before we start, it is full-blown summer in my house, and we are feeling that in so many ways. I don't know what time you all get up for your kids for school because Becky, you have high schoolers, and Carla, both of yours are out of elementary now, or
Yeah, they're both in middle school.
both junior high. So mine are still elementary age, and I think you both probably have earlier wake up times than us, but my kids are currently enrolled in this summer camp, and they're gone all day, which is great because they're entertained and they're not just watching TV.
And because they're gone all day.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm getting up at 6 every morning to get them off to this camp. And it's like way earlier than we do for school.
So is your summer camp a blessing for you, or is it like a curse for you?
Well, it's like one of those things where once they're gone, they're gone for the day, which is so great for everybody involved. But I'm exhausted, but I'm like up for the day and I don't want to go back to sleep. And so we're getting a lot done. My wife and I are getting a lot done, but we're exhausted.
Oh, that 6 a.m. is way too early for me. In fact, having high schoolers has been such a blessing for me. They have to be out the door by 7 a.m. and we're actually still in school. School's not over, except for Macy, who already graduated. And I don't know what switch happened in middle school, but all of a sudden, I don't have to wake them up. I don't have to drive them now because Macy has a driver's license. McKenna's getting her driver's license next month. It's just like there's some freedom that comes with having teenagers.
I don't know about that because I have middle schoolers and that hasn't happened for me yet, Becky.
Oh, you haven't ticked the high school.
Okay, I will say my daughter would do all that. Like I don't need to tell my daughter anything in the morning. My son, on the other hand, 6 a.m. wake up. I told him to set 5 alarms. Still by 6:20, he's still sleeping. I have to get him up. I mean, it's like having a baby. Tell him to put deodorant on, brush your teeth. I mean, he's going into 8th grade. Like, I thought it would click by now. Hasn't clicked.
Listen, though, Laker starts 9th grade next year, and it's this year that it clicked. The second half of 8th grade was when it clicked for him, because before that, it was telling him 57 times to get out of bed. So maybe.
Okay, so there's
There's
maybe
hope.
a little bit of hope in my future.
Because this is your
Say, y'all are leaving me with much to look forward to here. So this camp is almost over though, and then we have our summer Disney trip coming up, which is actually combined with my dance studio is doing nationals down there, nationals competition, and so we're really excited. We just got the schedule yesterday as we're recording this, and it looks like my dancers and I are going to get 2 full days in the park. We have some downtime, so that's going to be really awesome. But most of my dancers are driving, and we, as I've said before, live in Ohio. We do that drive typically once a year, but like that's our limit. My wife and I are like, we are not driving to Disney more than once a year. So we're flying down. And I'm curious because you live so close to Disney, both of you. Do you take vacations where you have long drives, or do you fly everywhere you go with your kiddos?
So we have traveled extensively with our kids, and we actually are leaving on a flight with our kids tomorrow to go to New York. And I honestly love flying with kids. I don't know if it's just my kids are low maintenance and they are like the perfect little ducklings that just follow us through the airport. I don't know if I had to manage their luggage, if they were able to pull their own luggage along, but we've traveled with them since they were babies. And flying with kids is probably one of my very favorite parts of like a launch to vacation because the anticipation, they know that they're going to get that rush of that pressure on their chest. Oh my gosh, have your kids ever like freaked out about that initial rush on their first ever flight?
No, I've never had a rush in my chest on a flight at
No, I haven't
the
either.
airport.
But I just think they're in such awe. Like they think it's so cool. We're like stressed out about everything and they think they're, I mean, just living it up, walking on an airplane.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we used to, my family when I was little would fly all the time. We always flew. So to me, airports and airplanes were this sense of I'm about to go somewhere fun. Like
Mm.
they weren't ever, I never associated an airport with anything but fun, right? So then as I was an adult and I became friends with people that didn't fly all the time, or maybe their intro to flying was flying for work, I would always hear them say, "Oh, I hate flying. I hate flying." I never felt that way because I've always associated getting on an airplane with fun. Even as an adult now where I fly for work, I don't mind it. And my kids, like yours, Becky, have always flown. And I think it's really a great time too. I hear all the time people are so worried about getting their kids on an airplane, and maybe some of our listeners might be flying to their summer vacation this year, maybe for the first time. I think be less nervous. It is really fun and they are in awe, like Carla said. It's such a unique thing and it's such a great intro to your adventure.
I think a lot of people also get nervous about their kids being on the airplane. Like they're going to drive everyone crazy for whatever reason. I am in the camp that if somebody's annoyed by your kids, they're probably just annoyed in life. Like people understand. Like they're going to be annoyed no matter where they are. So
It's
just
probably
embrace it.
such a small window, maybe that like 1 to 3 window where kids just have no control, essentially.
And it is hard and the ears probably do hurt. And it's like anytime I'm on a plane and because my kids don't really act that way on planes anymore, but there was a period where they did. And anytime there's a kiddo that's having a hard time controlling themselves, I'm always saying like, trust me, it's much worse for that poor parent that's trying to handle that kiddo than it is for us sitting here listening to it, because they feel, first of all, they're trying to make their kid happy, and then also they feel this pressure of everybody on this plane hates me.
Mm.
And trust me, it's worse for somebody else on the flight
Oh
than-
yeah. And I would always put in like the little carry-on bag or diaper bag, depending on what phase they're in. I would put like suckers because that always tended to help them pop their ears, telling them to suck on that sucker or giving them things that are gonna just entertain them. The iPad was always a fail-safe for me.
Yeah, I think I told the story on here about my flight to Hawaii that I dramatically underestimated how long it was going to be, and I had a 1-year-old at the time. Luckily, she was so good. I had to walk her in the aisles for quite a bit of time on that flight because it was longer than we realized. But to get us through, our stewardess, she brought us a complimentary Mai Tai. So that was a really nice way for us to make it through. And then my oldest daughter had a sucker, like what you just said. And so things like that. But we're flying on this upcoming trip, and I'm really looking forward to it because my kids are good in the car, but 17 hours is 17 hours. I don't care how many things you can put in there to entertain them.
Brutal.
It's tough.
Oh, so kind of along those same lines, I had the weirdest experience yesterday as a mom, which is a different level of anxiety for me. I wouldn't say I'm overly an anxious person, but I got on to check my Google Maps, which we share locations as a family. And I see the Sean and the 2 kids that are here on my map, less than a mile from me. And then I see Macy clear out of screen because she is up in New York City right now. And I have never had a kid that far away from me on their own. We've traveled without kids and they've been home, but it is so anxiety driven to me. Like last night, I could not fall asleep because I could see Macy's little location dot moving through Times Square. And I'm just like, is she okay? Is she with everyone? Like, have you ever had kids be like that far away from you, away from home?
No.
I'm trying to think because we travel all the time, but I mean, my kids have gone like to my grandma, so their great grandma's house, which is like 3 hours away, but never across the country quite like Macy is.
Oh, did I tell you how she told me she was going to New York?
Mm-mm.
She came home from school one day, and we've talked about how she sang at the candlelight procession before. And her chorus got invited to go perform. They perform often, like at little community events and whatever. She came home from school one day and she's like, Mom, so our chorus got invited to sing in another place. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, I don't really remember the name of it though. It starts with a C. And I'm like, so like, the community center. And she's like, no, it's not that. It's somewhere that's going to be kind of big, like a big deal. And I'm like, I don't know what you would be talking about. And she's like, it's in New York.
You really not know, or was she jonesing with you?
She really didn't know. She's like, it's in New York. It starts with a C, I think. I think it started with a C. And I'm like, you don't mean like Carnegie Hall, right? And she's like, yeah, that's it. And I'm like, you didn't you didn't know that you were invited to sing at Carnegie Hall? Like, oh my gosh.
It's so amazing. I'm so excited for her.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I can't wait. She's up there for 2 days without us. We are going to go join her tomorrow. It's going to be amazing.
And you're surprising her in some way, yeah?
We are. By the time this comes out, she'll already know. But we were able to somehow, like a freak of nature, somehow it happened that they had 4 front row tickets at Carnegie Hall available. And the rest of like this chorus whose parents are going are sitting up in the dress circle. So when Macy walks out on stage, she's going to see us sitting on the front row.
You're about to cry.
I really am about to cry. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for her. Oh,
Speaking of crying, Macy graduated this week on Tuesday, and I texted the pod group. I was like, how many times has Becky cried today?
and Allie's response wasn't a remarkable amount.
Yeah. A remarkable amount of tears have been shed for
One
sure.
time all day. It's a continuous cry.
Seriously. It was the perfect thing.
Yeah. I will be that person too, though. When my kids graduate, I cried at my own graduation, which is like maybe a little embarrassing. I don't know.
I don't know. I think you shouldn't be embarrassed of emotions. I used to be very, very embarrassed by how often I would cry, but it's just part of my personality. Like I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad.
Yeah, we love you for it.
Yeah. Embrace it. It is what it is. Well, I am excited to talk today about this quick service. We actually asked our Patreon community and some of our supporters and listeners which park they wanted to hear about next when it came to quick service. And Animal Kingdom was the overwhelming pick. So we're really excited. And I can't wait to talk about this food because this is such a good food park. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dive into this bracket.
Hi, Smarties. Carly here from the podcast. You hear us talking about the right way to do Disney, but let's be honest, taking notes isn't exactly easy while you're busy momming and on the go. There's an easy way to get all of those tips organized to simplify your vacation. Check out our 4-part guide bundle available now in our Patreon shop. Also, if getting guides is something you like to help with your planning, joining our Patreon as a Diamond Mine subscriber gives you a new Disney guide every month. Either way, we have got your back on knowing how to plan your park days so you feel like the expert before you walk in the gates.
Okay, we are back, and this is our 3rd quick service food episode. So we, like I explained before, have done this already for Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom, and I actually am loving the feedback. We have listeners that are tagging us and saying, oh my gosh, I'm trying this quick service location because I heard about it on the show, and I never would have tried this before I heard you talk about it. People are posting pictures of the food. So if that's you, if you've listened to one of the quick service episodes or this one today sparks a new try for you, please don't forget to tag us on Instagram so we can share that, or throw a picture up on our Facebook community so that we can talk about the pick that you go with. The way that we do these quick service brackets are we took between us, podcast hosts, the 8 most popular quick service restaurants within Animal Kingdom, and we all gave them a ranking 1 to 8, and then we seeded them in a bracket. So we have 4 different matchups for the first round. We'll take them all the way through 3 different rounds to figure out what is the very best quick service that Animal Kingdom has to offer. And the answer will cover lots of different areas. So I'm excited to dive in. I had a really good idea which restaurant was going to win the last 2 parks we did. I don't know what's going to win here. I'm going to be really interested to see, especially even what comes down to the final 2, because I can think of like 3 that, or maybe even 4 that deserve to make it in the final 2. And I can't wait to see what they are. Do you all have an idea of what's going to be there?
I definitely am leaning heavily rooting for one of these, but I can see, especially knowing who's on the episode this time, I could see it coming down to 3. I agree. It's going to be interesting to see what ends up at the championship for sure.
The very first round is going to feature all 8 of the restaurants that made it into our bracket. And the first round we're going to talk about here, we're going to be matching these restaurants up based on food, variety that's offered, quality, portion size, and things like that. Everything surrounding the food itself. And so our first matchup we're going to look at is going to be Yak and Yeti, local food cafes, versus Pizzafari. This is easy for me because I will tell you right now, one of the greatest things about Animal Kingdom is the food, in my opinion. I mean, like the rides are great, the shows are great, the atmosphere is great. And as I've talked about through the course of even us doing this podcast, this park has grown on me a lot. But this is like maybe the best foodie park there is. And that's coming from somebody that loves Epcot. And pizza to me is just not it.
Pizza is the safe thing, right? It's the thing that your kids are going to want. Pretty much every park, there's going to be an option of pizza somewhere. But I agree that of the foodie parks, you'd think Epcot would be that park, but I feel like there's something about Animal Kingdom and just the variety of flavors. It's not just a bunch of hamburgers and chicken nuggets in Animal Kingdom. And Yak and Yeti, this is the outside one we're talking about. This is not the sit down Yak and Yeti. It is the walk up window. And that something about that Korean chicken is just everything that's amazing. But not only that, there are variety at Yak and Yeti. They have breakfast. And so you can get breakfast bowls, you can get English muffins, fruit salads, all of those things for breakfast that you're looking for. So great variety there. That's not available in all places. I think in most situations, you're looking at getting a coffee shop or a Joffrey's or something for breakfast in lots of parks. So having the availability of breakfast, but then that honey sesame chicken is amazing. They have a Kobe cheeseburger. So if you want a cheeseburger, a Kobe cheeseburger is going to be significantly better than a typical theme park burger option.
I
Yeah.
was going to say, could you imagine being one of the most beautiful parks, staring at the tree of life, eating like a subpar pizza? Or
No.
or even better, I was looking at the menu, even better, a chicken parmesan with the side of gnocchi. Like,
It's so weird. It's like go to Pizzafari only if you have a kiddo that's in that phase where it's like they're gonna eat this or they're gonna die. You know what I mean? Like otherwise, you got to try something else.
and then if you go there, let them eat, but then you don't eat there. Please, adults, do not eat there. Please, there are so many better options to eat at.
Yes.
I don't know. Even something about the name Pizzafari has always just really made me feel like it's Chuck E. Cheese pizza. Like something about it makes it feel like it's your local subpar pizza joint. Like it's like one of those places you go and there's
I kind of like Chuck E. Cheese pizza. I mean, it's been a while, but at least when you're at Chuck E. Cheese, you know where you are. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can't go to Pizzafari. They added Fari on there like you're gonna be like some exotic safari. You're not. You're in the most beautiful park and you're eating subpar pizza, and right down the street from you is Pandora with a way better option.
Pizza. Yeah, I feel like Pizzafari. You feel like you should be in like a animatronic giraffe like is greeting you as you walk in, and there's like an elephant whose trunk is like up and down. It's like
Like the Rainforest Cafe.
Exactly. Yes, it's like animatronic animals when in reality it's an incredibly beautiful park. Yeah, it's just this is not it. I mean, it's great that it's there because some kids are like pizza or die, but Yak and Yeti is delicious. It has huge variety, like Becky already said, chicken options. If you really need a burger, there's a great one there. But they also have amazing dessert, and they do have a really kid-friendly menu.
Mhm.
So like you can have a great variety of adult flavors, and then if you don't have an adventurous kiddo, they can have, an Uncrustable.
Oh yeah. My son would choose to order just a side of like chicken fried rice as his meal.
Yeah, and that's fine though, because then that still makes
Yeah, the honey
sense.
sesame chicken, that's a sure bet with kids.
My son would eat an Uncrustable straight from the freezer, still frozen, before he would eat that. But he can get. So I mean, Yak and Yeti is moving on here against Pizzafari for sure.
Absolutely.
One good thing though I want to point out about Pizzafari before we knock it off our list though is that Pizzafari does have the mobile order option from within inside your My Disney Experience app, which just means that you can pre-order your kiddo's pizza, swing by and grab it, and then head on over to Yak and Yeti and actually eat there.
Love it.
So okay. Yak and Yeti, moving on. Matchup 2, we have Flame Tree Barbecue versus Restaurantosaurus. Carla, you go.
Flame Tree Barbecue, definitely my top 2 choices at Animal Kingdom. And not only because of the food, but the ambiance of where you sit. So no air condition over here per se, but they have these like beautiful terraces that overlook like a really special part of the park. And it's just the food options here are going to be barbecued meat. They have this bowl of barbecued, like I think it's pork or beef over mac and cheese with crispy onions. Easily one of my favorite things to eat in this park.
Yeah.
In terms of the barbecue, it feels like it's just right in Animal Kingdom. Like I feel like that vibe. Of course, the setting for going and eating your food in a beautiful setting is awesome at Flame Tree Barbecue. And I think I am the lone soul on this podcast who actually enjoys Restaurantosaurus. All of you are like Restaurantosaurus.
Stop it.
Eight. But I have such great memories at Restaurantosaurus. And I think it's probably because we get off of the dinosaur ride. That's where it's at. And we go and we order food. The food is not amazing. It's very much theme park food. Hamburgers, hot dogs. It's the typical theme park food. So in terms of it being part of this conversation, it is absolutely can't hold a candle to Flame Tree Barbecue.
Yeah, Restaurantosaurus is connected to one of my favorite bars at Animal Kingdom.
Shout out to Jimmy.
Yeah, shout out to Jimmy. There's a great bar there. And my wife and I may have had a few too many mojitos when our twins were napping and our oldest daughter was riding Flight of Passage. But that's the best part about that little restaurant area, in my opinion. Restaurantosaurus is great for your kids again. This is just similar to the last conversation we had. Like there's chili dogs there, but I'd rather have a chili dog elsewhere. It just feels like normal traditional theme park food in the wrong park. And it feels like you have to have it there because there are some people that those are like the only flavors they're okay with, which kudos to Disney for having the option, but it just feels wrong park to me. It feels not adventurous enough, not flavorful enough, too cliche. It's fine. I think Flame Tree Barbecue is probably the best barbecue on Disney property. The other option would likely be, well, a lot of people like that Polite Pig over at Disney Springs and the restaurant at Epcot.
Regal Eagle.
The
Yeah.
Regal Eagle.
Eagle, yeah.
Regal Eagle in the American Pavilion. This is my favorite. I think Flame Tree outdoes both.
Yeah, I agree. I think that Restaurantosaurus is important for parents that are listening to know that they do have that option there because so many times we see like, where can my kid get chicken nuggets? I have a picky eater. Where can they eat? And this part can be very intimidating if you do have a picky eater in your family, maybe a picky eater dad or adult, whatever. This is going to be your option. So definitely make it so that you're hitting that, before you go somewhere else, before you get into a bind where you're over in Africa and your kid's hungry.
My only thing that I push back on Flame Tree Barbecue at all is that it kind of feels fancy for a quick service. Like sitting down with a half chicken on a quick service meal, sitting down with like a rack of ribs on a quick service meal feels a little bit odd to me.
Stop it.
That's a stretch. You're stretching.
No.
You deserve fancy, Becky. You deserve a half a chicken.
That's fair. I'm just thinking quick service when I'm eating quick service because we are table service people. When I'm eating quick service, it's like I want to grab a meal, eat it, and be on to the next thing. And there is something, okay, we know, can we agree Flame Tree Barbecue is the one moving on, right?
Yes, for sure.
Restaurantosaurus, though, for me, feels like I'm in like Bill and Ted's Awesome Adventure when you go and sit in the garage area and there's just like, I don't know, it pulls on something in my heart, just the theming of the restaurant. So
I gotta say, when it comes to the food specifically, I don't care to eat a half a chicken quickly. I'd rather have that than anything Restaurantosaurus is offering up. Although Animal Kingdom, I think, knows its identity and knows that these meals are a little bit tricky for kids. And so you really do also look at the kids' meal menus because like even at Flame Tree, you still have the option to get an Uncrustable. You know what I mean? Like my kids can get an Uncrustable and an orange and be super happy while we have our fancy chicken,
And to be fair, where there aren't as many rides in Animal Kingdom, maybe this really is the park where you are doing a quick service meal, you are slowing down and having a view of the Tree of Life while you're eating a half chicken.
Yeah, exactly. And for anybody that's listening that may not eat meat and they think, well, a barbecue place is not for me, they actually do have like plant-based options. I think this restaurant does a good job trying to make itself available for lots of different palates and different needs. So I like it.
Yeah, those Impossible Burtons were delicious. I did like them.
I haven't actually had them because I do eat meat, but I would imagine they're good. Good. Okay, so Flame Tree is going to move on versus Restaurantosaurus. Although, again, just a shout out to Restaurantosaurus for existing in the park because, those foods are needed there as well. Our next matchup 3, Satuli Canteen versus Trilobite. This one might be a little bit harder. Becky, you start us off here.
Trilobites is basically a snack space. And so just introducing that while it is a snack place, it is one of the best things you can have for lunch, in my opinion. They have this buffalo chicken chip. I don't know, is that how you would describe it? A buffalo chicken dip on top of like kettle chips, and then they drizzle what they claim is blue cheese over the top of it. I hate blue cheese, and that did not taste like blue cheese to me. It tasted like heaven. We sat there and ate it as a family. It was amazing. But then comparing Trilobites to Satuli Canteen, Satuli is definitely more of a full service, quick service location. And this is going to be over in the Pandora area. And I'm actually going to let you all talk to the food of it because there is something about the environment there that really turns me off. I was again the lone person on this that was like,
hey, that's next. That's
I
the
know
next
that's
category.
little hamburger pods. I know people love them.
You know what it is about the food? This is what it is. First of all, before I say anything about the food, I love Satuli Canteen. I think this is Disney doing its thing. You know what I mean? Delicious.
Seriously, I was about to say, if you dig this right now, I'm done.
No, no, absolutely not. This is Disney doing its Disney thing. It is delicious. It does not feel like quick service. This is one of the reasons I consider Animal Kingdom a foodie park because this type of stuff exists. Here's what it is, though, for you, Becky, and tell me if I'm wrong. It is located in Pandora. And so to me, it's similar to like the food in Galaxy's Edge over at Hollywood Studios, where they're trying to make it feel otherworldly. And so it's almost like bringing in more generic, less flavorful options felt out of theme. And when you're in Pandora and it's so immersive, I think they wanted it to be immersive all the way through, including the food. So that's why a burger there is a cheeseburger pod, which is like a wonton, basically, right? Like a
bao bun. A bao bun.
A bao bun. Yeah, there you go. It's better. Not a wonton, a bao bun wrapped burger. So it is really unique, but I think it's Disney doing its thing.
They do an amazing job with the theming of it. And I really do think that that's what it is. And it's hard for me to talk about the food in a positive way because similar to eating at T-Rex in Disney Springs, if there's weird lighting, if there's something that I'm looking at that makes me feel like off, I really struggle enjoying my food. Like my salad at T-Rex, the lighting made my salad look blue. And so I was just kind of like...
Sounds like an issue that needs unpacked elsewhere.
I might need some therapy for this because I know that it's amazing food, but I'm the person who struggles getting over the visuals.
You're talking about T-Rex in comparison to Satuli Canteen.
Yeah, this is absurd. T-Rex and Pizza Safari maybe, but T-Rex and Satuli Canteen is like a tragedy.
Okay, so Satuli Canteen is all about the bowls, right? They're like your meats with your bases. You can make your own bowl, which I think is a fantastic option. There's noodles. There's this sweet potato like hash stuff. It's all extremely delicious. They have, boba balls. They put sauces in the ball, and it's just it's part of being immersed in this otherworldly land of Pandora, right? Not only that, but they are keeping the kids in mind with the pods, the cheeseburger pods, but they also have a hot dog that's wrapped in this sourdough bread. It's delicious.
Yeah, I will say my son, my picky eater, will not eat here. So they are mindful of the kids because of what you just said, Carla, but like the options are not kid friendly in the way that some of the other ones we talked about, like where your pickiest eater will enjoy it. Right? Like he won't eat a hot dog wrapped in that, even though it's delicious. The bowls are fantastic. They are also different. The mixing and I mean, my mouth is watering thinking about eating this. And
we need to convert Becky.
Yeah, I think it's one of the more unique quick service options in any park.
That's fair. But while you all are eating your hamburger and a bao bun, I'm going to go get a massive pretzel and just...
That is, yeah, I know what you're talking about. That is, in my opinion, the best pretzel on property.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about over in Pandora.
Yes.
Right next door.
Yeah. But I wouldn't be having a burger there. I would get a bowl. What do you eat there, Carla? Do you have a favorite bowl?
Yeah, no, I eat the bowls. I either build my own or just have one of the pre-made ones.
Yeah, I've had a few and I like to change it up. This is right up my alley though. So I like to try different things. Well, Satuli gets to move on because Carla and I
I'm not going to put up a hard fight for that because what's going against it is basically one food option.
Yeah, Trilo Bites is fine, but it is a snack. It's like a one snack shop. And if you want to enjoy a snack as a family,
Yeah, I think it literally is only that snack, right?
yeah, and I say go for it if you want to have like a fun family moment and that buffalo chicken is your jam, you like
Yeah.
that flavor, go for it, go enjoy it together. But it's not being Satuli Canteen. Come on. Okay, great. So this is shaping up nicely and pretty predictable. Next, we have Harambe Market. This is our last matchup in our first bracket versus Mr. Kamal. Carla, correct me if I'm wrong. You're a Mr. Kamal's fan, yeah?
Yeah, we are. We are. Mr. Kamal's is just like a little food truck. Again, it's hitting on more of that snack aspect more than quick service itself. I haven't been in a while, but there's two things on the menu. There's Mr. Kamal's fries and the pot sticker dumpling things that comes with just a simple dipping sauce. And we always get one of each. We love it. It's delicious. It's flavorful. I know we're just talking food, but I love the ambiance of where you, again, can sit. We've had tons of family moments in this little area. But with that said, I also like Harambe Market because I don't know. I think my food love language is a bowl, and I love a good bowl.
So, give me noodles and rice.
I like big bowls, and I cannot lie.
These bowls are also more of this world, right? So where Satuli, you got to be more adventurous. These are more what you would expect, like, shrimp and rice bowl,
You're more
chicken and rice.
basic bowls, but they're still delicious.
Basic bowl. This is a basic bowl. Yeah. They're delicious. Yeah, exactly. And it also has a really wide range. You can get the bowls, which is awesome, but they also have French fries, or they have kid size bowls, which is really cool. Both of my daughters have eaten those and they're adventurous, but we can still go there as a full family because my son can get the chicken tenders because they also have that. And so it's a vast range here, and it can really appeal to lots of different wants. And it's quick and convenient to me and really, really good. You can also get alcohol here.
I am a bowl person, which is why I don't know why I've never grabbed onto Satuli. But something else I really enjoyed here was the beef and lamb pita. It gave me that Euro feel. Like, where else are you going to get that on Disney property? I don't know. I really enjoyed that there. But this is also right by. People are going to be like, why is nobody talking about the corn? Right? The corn isn't actually at the market. It's right across the street from it. But you could totally go get among the best corn on property right there to your lunch.
If you listen to our snack episode, you know that we like that corn, and I always will get that corn when I'm over there. And Mr. Kamal's, the chicken dumplings are great. Like, I love dumplings, but it's more of a snack. I'm not stopping for lunch. It's like, oh, I'm a little hungry. Let's grab a quick snack. I want to grab some dumplings. You know what I mean? I would grab that. I would grab those dumplings from Mr. Kamal's before I would grab the buffalo chips from Trilo Bites. But yeah, it's not better than Harambe Market. Don't you kind of feel like Harambe Market feels sort of like a heartbeat within this park?
Yeah, I could see that. Mr. Kamal's fries, Carla, I know you love these. These are like one of your favorite things. Is it the fries or is it the sriracha mayo that you love about it? Or is it the combo?
I don't know. I'm stuck on how Allie was just having like a really special moment, and we were both like the heartbeat of the park.
No, it's like
Sure, Allie. Yeah, whatever you say.
They have like life going on over there. There's other stuff going on over by the market.
It feels like a very busy part of the park.
That's weird. There's stuff happening in Animal Kingdom. Weird. It's the heartbeat of the park. It's the heartbeat of America.
Is the Africa section where you feel like, I feel like it's the busiest part of the park personally. I feel like, I say I'm not anxious, but maybe I am anxious because when I go to that Africa part, it just kind of feels like chaos. The Lion King thing right there, the people watching the performers. It's an amazingly busy part of the park, but the Harambe Market, I want to step inside to escape the chaos for myself.
Yes, but going back to Mr. Kamal's, not the heartbeat, so I don't want to get any, listeners confused. It is, I don't know, it's just an easy snack. We always just stop and get it. But yeah, it's all about the dipping sauces, right?
You know I was about to say what's interesting is we've knocked out Pizzafari, Restaurantosaurus, Trilo Bites. That's 3 just really not good things. And Mr. Kamal's, which just is losing because it's just more snack based than option based. I was about to say nothing's really that bad, but in comparison to the things that are moving on, I actually think some of those are kind of bad, especially Pizzafari and Restaurantosaurus, in my opinion. Okay, so moving forward, This is great. And of course, these are the obvious ones that would move into the final four. Are these top four in all of Disney for quick service? We have Yak and Yeti, Plane Tree Barbecue, Satuli Canteen, and the Harambe Market. I'm excited for when we finish all four parks and have four brackets that can almost work with one another for all four parks, because honestly, these four that are moving on here in round two are like, there's not a whole lot better in Disney World than these four quick service.
You said, are these the best four in all of Disney World? And I was like, no, that can't be. But looking at what we're looking at, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Pecos Bill, shout out to Magic Kingdom, but these are all better than that, in my opinion. All four of them are better than that.
Yeah, and none of these are like typical theme park food. Like, this is flavor, this is variety, this is
the heartbeat of Disney.
This is the heartbeat of Disney. Okay, we're gonna take another break. We come back. We're going to do our final four matchup, our Fantasmic Four matchup.
Hey, wait. I know you're ready to get back to the podcast, but I've got something very simple for you to do. Join my Facebook group, Disney Planning Made Simple. I'm Stacy, one of your podcast hosts, and I have a sweet, friendly Facebook group made for those of us who thrive in the simple pleasures of life, things like family, food, and Disney. Join at facebook.com/groups/Disney Made Simple or follow with the link in the show notes. We'll be so happy to see you there.
Hey there, friends. I'm Katie Boone, one of your podcast co-hosts. I'd love to invite you to join my Facebook Disney planning community called Planning Disney with Babies, Toddlers, and Preschoolers. In my group, I love discussing all the aspects of planning your magical vacation with little ones. Find my community at facebook.com/groups/Plan Disney with Little Ones. Again, that's facebook.com/groups/Plan Disney with Little Ones. When you join, don't forget to tell me you heard about my group on the podcast. See you there.
There's a lot going on over there. There's people making jewelry and whittling wood, and there's music. And
Where are you talking about?
in Africa.
In Africa by the Harambe Market.
But it's so busy.
The Pulse. Maybe it's the Pulse. All right. All right. Welcome back. I'm so excited to continue this conversation. We did our first matchups. Our first four matchups are Enchanted 8. We judged them in every matchup on food. The category was food, variety, quality, quantity, etc. We have moved on four of what we consider to be the best quick service restaurants, not only in Animal Kingdom, but in all of Disney. And we have our Fantasmic Four that we are now going to match up and judge against one another on convenience, accessibility, and location. I am very nervous about this. I have no idea how it's going to fall. And I'm nervous to knock anything out, to be honest. But our first matchup that we're going to be looking at is Yak and Yeti, the local food cafe. I want to be clear here that Yak and Yeti does have a sit-down option. This is the quick service Yak and Yeti option versus the Harambe Market. And we're looking at convenience, accessibility, and location. What do you think?
I don't know that location is bad for either of these. Harambe Market, we know, is at the heart of Disney. But yeah, Yeti.
I've been thinking about it. Maybe it's more of like the Pulse. I'm just thinking about that area and how it's like lively.
That's fair. Well, Harambe's over in the Africa area, right?
Yeah.
And so that is very
It's not
accessible.
far from each other.
Yeah, they really
No,
aren't.
they're not.
They really aren't. Harambe being in that Africa area, it's right where you're going to get on the safari, where you're going to,
Whittlewood.
I don't know, like you could get there easily from pretty much anywhere in the park, unless you're over in the dinosaur area. I feel like Harambe Market is very accessible from no matter where you're coming from. And Yak and Yeti similar because it's not too far down the path from it over in the Asia area, kind of over by Expedition Everest, where you're going to get on my least favorite water ride in the world.
Yeah, mine too. I mean, Harambe Market is tucked back a little bit. So it's kind of like there are two paths you can walk, and it's like you kind of have to pick that path to go to the Harambe Market. And there is seating back in there, which is really nice under those shaded, I don't know, what would you call them? Just like canopies.
Mhm.
Whereas Yak and Yeti, what's the table situation for the quick service at Yak and Yeti?
It's not great.
No, I was going to say it feels very like compact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you kind of have to walk around the side, back to the back. If you're eating at prime time of the day, like right at lunchtime, right at noon, you're probably going to have to scope out finding a table for your family. But we've always been able to find a spot there. But I don't think that the accessibility, like, and it feels very like everybody's sitting on top of each other
Yes.
over in that area, compared to Harambe feels like there's kind of rooms situated,
Mhm.
separating. It feels like you have a little more breathing space.
When I went and did the media after hours event at Animal Kingdom a couple of years ago, which I've talked about on the show before, it was actually for the opening of Tron, but we got to do a special night at Animal Kingdom. They catered dinner and they had us in Harambe Market, which just kind of tells me
I know what's up.
they felt like that was that made the most to put a large group of people. It was easy for us to flow around, to get to the bar, to get to the buffet, to find a table. So I mean, I guess it, for food, they both moved on.
Splitting hairs here.
It is, but I'm also going to add, this is literally like killing me because Yak and Yeti is my favorite restaurant on property. But when we're talking specifically convenience, accessibility, and location, Harambe Market has mobile ordering and Yak and Yeti does not. You have to stand in line at Yak and Yeti.
Yeah, I think the reality is here, if the reason we do a bracket is because we want to make sure we have the best all around. And it's like Yak and Yeti, the food, if we're just saying food, I'm like, yeah, Yak and Yeti is like so delicious. Forget every other thing that may matter, that may come into play, and just eat at Yak and Yeti. But when I'm talking what's the best quick service at Animal Kingdom, I want to know not only what is delicious, but what is convenient, what is accessible, what's going to make me happy during, a midday chaotic moment. So I think for that reason and for the mobile order, like it's killing me, but I think Harambe Market has to move on above Yak and Yeti.
Are we for reals taking a 4 over a 1 in our opinion? That's Carla, you look like you're about to cry. Are you okay?
I mean, for convenience and accessibility, I think we have to. The mobile order is kind of like what's, turning me to agree with this nonsense.
I think it's nonsense too. I just want listeners to know, like, if you're like Yak and Yeti is so delicious, it might be the best food, like among the best food and restaurant options. Like if you're doing a sit down ADR advanced dining reservation, Yak and Yeti is my biggest push. This is the one you should go for. So that's just to show it really does kill me to knock it out of our bracket here. But Harambe Market is just easier. It's easier to order. It's easier to eat. It's easier to sit. It's easier to kind of escape chaos. And it is delicious.
I will also add that Yak and Yeti, if I was choosing between grabbing it as a quick service or grabbing it as a sit down all day, every day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And that was tough.
You know what else? It wouldn't be terrible to hit both and like pick up some food at Yak and Yeti and then walk around, because it's really not that far from each other. Walk around the corner, get your big bowls and, some great seating.
No, you're gonna scoop up some Yak and Yeti, walk over, grab some corn, and then eat at the tables at Harambe Market.
Yeah.
This is legit quick service. We are legit just grabbing and walking as we're eating.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a killer, but it does make sense. And we're judging on lots of factors here, not just food. Okay, so that brings our next matchup here is Flame Tree Barbecue versus Satuli Canteen. This is really hard. This is so hard.
Okay, here's the difference for me. One has air condition, one doesn't.
This is
With that said, one has a killer view, one doesn't. Do both have mobile order?
Yeah, they both have mobile order. So the convenience, I would put a tally in the Flame Trees corner for this because it literally is the center of the park. It is right next to where you're going to walk around the Tree of Life. If you say, meet me at Flame Tree Barbecue, you see the sign when you walk into the park over the thing, right? It's right there.
Location is easily.
Yeah, Satuli it's going to be a walk, no matter where you're coming from.
Unless you're coming from Flight of Passage at lunchtime.
That's true.
Yeah, and we already know that you have issues with Satuli.
Yeah, I feel like this is sabotage. So, okay, view, Flame Tree Barbecue, tables, size, convenience of like, I have my food. You know that image, you're in the cafeteria at school and you're like holding your tray and you're walking around, you can't find a table. Don't you think like Satuli Canteen is not that? Because there's so many different, we all went to an after hours event at Animal Kingdom together. So I already talked about my one I did another one with you. And where were we?
Satuli Canteen.
I was going to say, okay, so a lot of the food options that we're talking about, you can easily like grab and go. Like you could easily grab Yak and Yeti to go because they're in the little takeout containers, right? Can you grab a half chicken and not have a table to sit down and eat it at, because really, in the grand scheme of things, there is not that much seating at Flame Tree Barbecue, unless I'm missing something.
There's a ton of awnings that go all around the restaurant. No?
I mean, a ton is being a little dramatic.
Yeah, I agree. It's like the chicken, the fancy chicken is like the turkey leg of Animal Kingdom. You're gonna like walk around and
You're half a chicken,
Half a chicken.
like a Neanderthal.
yeah. I think Satuli Canteen is bigger, it's cooler.
The air conditioning does matter in that situation. I will give you that.
Yeah, and I mean most people are spending a lot of their time in Pandora anyway. Like you're gonna make it over there. You're going to ride Flight of Passage. You're gonna be there in the morning at Rope Drop or at night to see Pandora all lit up. So at some point in your day, Satuli is gonna be convenient for the meal.
This could be catastrophic. If we're choosing Satuli Canteen to move on, our number 1 and number 2 seeds are knocked out.
I don't know. What's your vote, Becky?
Oh, I'm Flame Tree. Definitely Flame Tree. But
Carla, what's your vote?
Oh gosh, I'm going Satuli,
Which makes me the tiebreaker.
but I want to eat it both. So
I do too. This is our hardest episode by far in quick service, but uh, I'm going Satuli.
oh, dagger.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, just like Yak and Yeti getting knocked out, it's like I can't not recommend Flame Tree Barbecue, but I can't get rid of the most unique offering at Animal Kingdom.
I'm gonna have to retry Satuli. Next time we're together, it's added to the list because you guys get me past whatever it is that's hanging me up.
maybe.
Yeah, well, just make sure you see your therapist so you can eat and look at something weird. Okay. We're almost there. We're making it all the way to figure out what the best quick service at Animal Kingdom is. And I don't even know once we actually declare a winner, if we can even confidently say that there's a single best, because all of this is so good. But before we do that, before we figure out what is going to be the best, I would just want to take a moment to thank all of you for listening and ask you to please stop what you're doing right now. Like, subscribe, follow us on social media. This takes 1 second to just make sure you turn on your automatic downloads so that every time we drop a new episode, it comes straight to you. You don't have to go looking for it. It's going to find you. And that's going to help you, which is going to help us. And everybody is just going to be in such a better position if you would just turn on your automatic downloads, follow, like, subscribe. You can find us anywhere on social media at Smart Moms Plan Disney Podcast. And if you have an issue with the way we are talking about these restaurants today, if you're angry that your favorite got knocked out, we want to hear about it. Our Facebook community is a great place to let us know where we got something right or wrong. And you can interact with one of the hosts where we can banter about it and really decide if we got it right or wrong. If you want to go the extra mile, leave us a 5-star review. Recently, we had a listener, Wedding Website, with 3 exclamation points, said, "My favorite thing about Tuesdays." That's so nice. "I started listening to this podcast almost a year ago when I needed just some extra happiness driving to work. Not only does it make me giddy to hear all about Disney, I'm also learning so much as I go. This podcast is the reason I took the leap to become a travel agent. Thank you, podcast team, for being informative and entertaining." That is amazing. What a kind review. And honestly, as most listeners know, we are Smart Moms travel agents. And if that's something that interests you, you can reach out, let us know, and we'd be happy to help you on that journey, because it's really great fun for us. And we can really turn a lot of those Disney fantasies that our reviewer was talking about into reality. And for any Smart Moms travel agents listening today, our hidden Mickey will be fantasy. Okay. I'm really looking forward to figuring out our championship restaurant here. Round 3. We've narrowed it down to 2, not just based on food. I really need to drive that home, because if we just did this based on food, we wouldn't have anything to talk about throughout the whole episode. We have to talk about everything that these restaurants have to offer. And these are our 2 that have made it all the way to the end based on not only their menu and the variety on their menu, but also their location and their environment, their convenience, things like that. And in our championship round, we have made it with Harambe Market versus Satuli Canteen. And our final determination here is going to be covering everything overall, the experience, the theming, everything that these quick service restaurants have to offer, bringing food back into the conversation and everything like that. So first of all, do we feel like we have a good 2 here in the championship?
I think so. I think it's a very clear which one is going to be the winner.
Do you?
Do you? I'm kind of shocked here. If I was to make a guess at the beginning, and to be fair, looking backwards when we have these conversations, I always come back to I am a person of habit. I tend to go to the same place over and over and over. And I'm just drawn to certain places. And so these are not the two that I anticipated being in the championship. So it's worth having these conversations for that purpose.
Yeah. Ahead of this recording, I thought Yak and Yeti versus Flame Tree Barbecue in the final. But when we really broke it down and talked about everything we're judging these on, it does make sense how we got here.
True.
Okay. Overall experience in theming. Satuli Canteen is probably the most themed restaurant in the park, right? I mean, they're all themed well, and Disney does that so well. And I think that's why we didn't like Pizzafari, is because it doesn't lean so heavily into Animal Kingdom atmosphere. Satuli Canteen, as I said earlier, Disney doing its thing. You are in probably the greatest themed land in all of Disney World. Do you guys think Pandora is better than Galaxy's Edge?
I personally do, but I'm not a Star Wars lore person. I wish I was. I wish I loved Star Wars the way that true Star Wars fans do, because their fandom is remarkable. Like, they truly love Star Wars. But I love Avatar.
We're going to get some Smart Moms Playing Disney podcast merch. That's just going to say Smart Moms Playing Disney podcast is remarkable.
Did I say remarkable? I didn't hear it. Oh my God.
Do you think Galaxy's Edge is better or Pandora, Carla?
I don't love the series of either of them, but I think that Galaxy's Edge reigns supreme just based on the size and the complexity of it. But I think that Disney, like you said, did their thing in both, and it is amazing things can be said about both.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to bring Hollywood Studios into the conversation. I was just thinking about how incredible I actually think Pandora is, and the floating mountains and how it changes and lights up at night. And I mean, it really is a different experience from morning to night. And I know how important it must have been for Imagineering to get a food option right and to keep it authentic and otherworldly, and keep it like otherworldly for a world that doesn't truly exist, right? This is all Imagineering. And they had to come up with a menu that made sense for a place that isn't real, except at Disney World. And so for that, I just think for overall experience and immersion, even though I love the pulse at Harambe Market and how exciting it is over there and busy it is over there and how Animal Kingdom it feels over there, I just think Satuli Canteen is more of a feat.
I'm not going to disagree at all. I think that the theming is beautiful. The lighting, the everything about that Pandora area. And Satuli is just kind of an extension of it. It doesn't even feel like its own exclusionary area. It's just all flowing together beautifully. Harambe Market kind of has that feel for me in Africa as well. Thinking through when I went to Morocco, that's the anxiety that I feel when I was in the market in Morocco, and it's just crazy busy. And that feeling is also there in that area, just like you were saying, Allie, like little marketeers that are out, I don't even know if that's the right word, creating of wood figures and jewelry and all of that piece in that area. It's fully immersive in that area as well. It's just a very different, it's a real life immersive feeling, like not so much fantasy. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I like about Harambe over Satuli is I feel like you could take your family to Harambe Market and have everybody be happy at Harambe Market. And I don't know that that would be the situation at Satuli.
Okay. So I'm thinking Becky is putting in a vote for Harambe. Carla, what do you think?
I already said it. Satuli is my vote.
Yeah.
So Becky just basically wasted her breath.
I don't know. I don't think you did. You know, it's funny if you go back and listen to our Hollywood Studios quick service episode, I kind of feel like Harambe Market is like a better version of the Sunset Boulevard. Go back and listen to that episode and you can see how that did. But I do feel like they're similar. And the market feel of Harambe Market is great. I'm glad that it made it so far, but I do think Satuli Canteen is such an incredible thing in the middle of such an incredible park. So is that it? Is Satuli the best that Disney Animal Kingdom has to offer?
I think it is.
I think so too.
But there is a lot to be said about this top four.
I agree.
And you really can't go wrong with any of them.
Yeah, I think the top four, which just, I'll refresh the memory here, Yak and Yeti, the quick service option, Flame Tree Barbecue, Harambe Market, and Satuli Canteen. Those are four top dogs when it comes to any quick service. You cannot go wrong. I love the reasons we got to Satuli Canteen being the number one choice. It feels really right. And this was really fun. And now I'm starving.
Is it lunchtime yet?
No, it's super early in the morning right now because we're doing
9 o'clock.
we're doing summer recordings early and I'm like craving a bowl.
Oh, yes.
I do love a breakfast bowl. Maybe I'll go make one of those. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today on the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. I really hope that this conversation has sparked a desire in anybody that's heading to Animal Kingdom soon to try a new quick service location. Tag us. Let us know what you think. What did you order? Don't go to Pizzafari. Try something new. Enjoy a new flavor that's immersive and fun and hopefully convenient for your day. I also want to remind you, if you have an upcoming trip and you need a little bit of extra help, join our Patreon community where our Diamond Mind members get a monthly companion guide to one of our episodes. And these guides are really, really helpful. They dive even deeper than our dialogue. Every single page has information that's going to help you plan every single aspect of your vacation. So we'd love to have you in there. And if you enjoyed today's episode, go back and listen to Character Meals Ranked, or maybe Magic Kingdom Quick Service Ranked. Those are both really great dining heavy episodes that I think you'll get a lot out of, especially if you have an upcoming trip. That's going to do it for us this time. And until next time, we'll see you real soon.